Okay. Now recording. And, yeah. So I'm assuming, that you guys can hear me. Both, Clayton, Sam, and everyone in the chat. And can you guys, oh, thank you, Mad. You guys can all hear Sam and Clayton too before we get started.
Hello, hello.
Sam, you sound really quiet.
Yeah, you got quiet all of a sudden.
Uh-oh. I plugged my headphones in, but
Okay. I just turned you way up, so that should help
Okay.
with.
yeah, I feel like if I don't put my headphones in, then the audio has like some feedback on my end. So
Gotcha. Okay.
is it better now?
Yeah, a little bit.
Still can't hear Sam.
Alright, well,
Okay.
alright.
No. I have another solution.
All right, is that better?
Or wait. Go
Yes.
back. You can.
That's
Okay.
better. But are you getting feedback? Is now the question.
I'm not.
No,
All
I'm
right.
not either.
All right, sweet. Let's do this then.
Everybody says way better. Okay. Yeah. Just let me know if something gets really loud or anything, and we'll try to get that fixed. So, yeah, I guess from there, let's get started. Officially kick off the regular season with the post-draft power rankings. First power rankings of season 4. Which we're gonna go 16 to 15. Me, Sam, and Clayton all ranked everyone individually, so you'll see our individual ranks, and we'll kind of give you a little. Each of us will give a little rundown of why we liked or didn't like your team, and yeah, go from there. So in 16th, we have our new coach, the Tustin Turtwigs. There's honestly, I guess before I started, I didn't think any team was explicitly bad. It was actually really hard to rank a lot of them. So, no, there's a lot of opinion in this. There's no objective, correct way to build a team. So, yeah, if we rank you low and you think your team's sick, then prove us wrong. But, yeah, I guess starting off this team really fast. How's it going, Soslo? Has, I think, Arrow ties with Megazam, if I'm not mistaken, for fastest non-Deoxys speed Pokemon drafted.
Yeah, he also has Deoxys, which
yeah, then also has Deoxys speed, also has Greninja, which I think is 122 base, which is also crazy.
Yeah.
And then has Mew, which I think is really good. And actually, when you first drafted Mew and Deoxys speed, I really did not like it. But the more I've been like looking at the team, the more I think that pair actually is fine to have together. Just because Deoxys speed can basically do all the hazard work that Mew normally does, and make it so that Mew can do whatever it wants. And Greninja can kind of do some of that too.
yeah, my biggest complaint right there, if I can interject real quick, is that Greninja and Deoxys speed feel very similar. You know, they're very fast. They can both, set up spikes, T-spikes too, I think. But they're both a little bit frail. So I feel like they're almost too similar.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah, I can see that.
Do you guys have positives and negatives listed out for each team? Because that's what I did for every team. Is just wrote a list of positives and negatives.
Yeah. Basically, my positives for this team are I think that with Mew, Greninja, and Mega Aerodactyl actually work really well. It lets Mew basically do whatever it wants to most weeks. With the exception that if you don't bring Defog on Flygon or Rapid Spin on Mr. Rhyme, then you're either not getting rid of hazards or you're using Mew. The good thing is you can just stack a ton of hazards and force your opponent to defog.
That is true.
But I think my biggest issue with this team is Ninetales Alola is completely out of place. Mr. Rhyme doesn't make sense to me. And I think you need a better steel type also.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing. Like, the Fairy Dragon steel combo here. It's always, I think, tough to get that combo when you're doubling up on a single mon. Because, I mean, Flygon is technically also a dragon.
Technically.
But I don't think a good enough dragon, if I'm being honest. So Duraludon kind of takes over the role of and dragon. But, I think the biggest positive note I had on this team was that it's, super fast.
Yeah.
And the biggest flaw I saw was no special wall, which, it's not the worst thing, but I think it's probably necessary down the road.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, I agree. I said for positives they had crazy fast. They have a lot of hazards. For negatives, I said pretty much everything else. No, said not much special bulk. Probably use a bulky water. Vaporeon might fit really well on this team. I found Hippo and Ninetales to be awkward because they're not really setting weather for anything. They're just kind of existing. I said Mew, D-Speed, and Greninja seem redundant. I could use more defog, could use more momentum, and needs something better with knockoff, I think.
Yeah, I think for me, the reason I didn't want to put this team in last is because I think if somehow you should get on the phone with Soslow, if you can somehow get Togekiss and get rid of Ninetales, this team instantly becomes really good, I think. Like, Togekiss fixes a lot of this team's issues, I think.
Yeah.
And then if you find Deoxys Speed to not really be working out, really, really easy to just drop that for Excadrill, and that's instantly really good also.
Yeah.
So I felt like this team has a lot of things that are, like, it's very easy to pick and play with this team in the way it's currently set up.
Actually, looking at this, if you drop Deoxys Speed for Excadrill, I think that makes your team a lot better.
Yeah.
But
we're coming up on that 5-minute mark. Or actually, we're at 6 minutes now. So
okay.
All right, we should probably move on then.
We'll jump to the next one, but overall, not that hard to fix the team, or make it a lot better. But
and good first draft. Remember, he didn't draft last year.
Yeah, honestly.
Yeah, definitely good first draft.
Yeah, I think your head was at the right spot. So next up, we have the South Central Corphish. I guess, Clayton, this was your bottom ranked team, so if you want to jump off, get.
Yes. Let me find my notes for this one. Hold on. Yeah, you don't have a steel type, which is tough. I feel like
or a dark type.
Yeah. Oh shit. Or a dark type. I feel like Charizard and Infernape are a bit redundant. I think it's hard to run both of them. I think you could use more. I think you could use more momentum. Let's see. Looking at this, I think it's just Infernape and Thundurus that have any momentum.
Slowking has, teleport out.
No, it doesn't.
No, it doesn't.
Oh, it doesn't get teleport?
No, Slowking Galar doesn't.
Oh, wow. Okay. I think I... Oops. I think I put that down as momentum, but...
Yeah, and then you don't really have great defog options. I guess it's a little better now that you picked up Weezing. I think I might have wrote that before. But for positives, I do like he has a lot of defensive options. Like,
Yeah.
he's got defensive checks for just about everything. So I don't know. Maybe if you kind of play into that and try to like turn this into a stall team or something, like a stall and pivot team, that could be cool. But yeah, I think it needs a little work.
Yeah, I mean, I basically
Dimsdale Dimmadome.
Yeah. No, I think that was a good pickup because one of my notes before that pickup was you have to have a different fairy type than Rapidash. That just I don't think Rapidash Galar is gonna cut it as a solo fairy. And then unfortunately you dropped your dark type to do it, which I didn't love. And then the good thing is I do think you have a pretty easy drop Infernape and pick up either a steel or a dark type, and then drop Rapidash, and you can use those points to do the same. And you have 11 Mons, so you can also get rid of Cradily or something like that, and add to that. And I think picking up something like Pangoro gives you a really good Trick Room option with Cress and Slowking. And Pangoro hits surprisingly hard and gives you a dark type, and then you don't lose your fighting type from Infernape. But again, I think this team's pretty close to being good. It's just missing a couple pieces.
Yeah, I kind of had the same thoughts. My biggest flaws were it's really slow. Like, what's your fastest mon? Your fastest mon is probably Infernape, I think. Maybe Rapidash.
Yeah.
How fast is Thunder?
I think it's Infernape.
Yeah, I think it is. So I think that's definitely a flaw.
I mean, Infernape's pretty fast.
It's 108.
I mean, it's 108, right?
Oh, it's only 108. Oh, all right, never mind. I thought it was
same as like Terrakion and Keldeo and stuff.
Yeah, it's not that fast. Let's see what else. No momentum. I mean, you have, like Bert was saying, you have or Clayton, you have U-turn on Infernape. You have you have Volt Switch on Thundurus. So I think that's an issue.
Does Lunar Dance on Cresselia count as momentum?
I guess kind of. But then yeah, you do have, I'd say actually the majority of your mons are defensive. Like you got Suicune, you got Donphan, Weezing, Slowking, the Ghosty and Psychic Boys, Grass Boy. So bulky, but not enough offensive threats, I don't think. I mean, yeah. Those are my main comments. Oh, and no steel type. You definitely need a steel type.
Yeah, I think dark type you can sometimes get away with not having a steel type's kind that you really need. At least take like Clang or Matang from Roger or something. I don't know why he has both, but
yeah,
at least get something like that. But
yeah, no, I agree.
Okay, and so you guys ready to move to the next one?
Yeah.
The next one is
the
Paudhury Poochyena. I do like that he's the other person that drafted the mascot, which I'm a big fan of.
Yeah.
Dude, even though
on the tier list.
Yeah.
Even though Mightyena is also tier 1.
Yeah. Or 1 point.
Hey, Mightyena can't run heavy
1 point.
Yeah.
I guess so.
I mean, I think, I think it was just for picking up Terrakion this week, but
Brian says he can't hear anyone.
You can't hear any of us?
You
can't hear any of us?
Can other people hear us?
Okay.
Oh, okay. That might just be a Brian problem.
Try refreshing the page.
Yeah.
Okay, everybody else can hear us.
Yeah, fuck you, Brian.
Yeah.
So I thought this team was good. I thought he has a lot of like that well-balanced kind of middle of the road. He has like a lot of 11 pointers, which is good. I feel like it balances your team pretty well, just like automatically. Um, but my main thing is that I feel like Celebi is trying to play too many roles and doesn't play them that well. Because it almost has to be a special wall, it almost has to be a cleric, it almost has to set hazards too, and it's doing too much and it's not good enough to do that.
Yeah.
Any
Yeah,
thoughts?
I agree.
I was really torn on whether this team was okay or really bad. And it all hinges on whether or not Celebi ends up being good. If Celebi ends up being able to do all that stuff and it can actually manage, then this team's fine. If it can't, I think the team has some big issues. It has a bunch of base 100 mons. Terracion's the fastest thing. And then the next fastest mon after like Mence and Volcarona is Diggersby and Blastoise.
Mm-hmm.
True, Brian, you make a good point. One pro is he has Diggersby. And
yeah. I think one thing that kind of complements his lack of speed, or not complements, but
helps.
Like makes it less of an issue, is that he does have a lot of priority, and he does have a lot of setup, and setup mons that can increase their speed. Like we have D-Dance on Salamence, we have Quiver Dance on Volcarona. So they can get to that speed level that you need. And I mean, you also have Quick Attack and Bullet Punch. So you can get to those. Sorry.
I was just say one potential issue is that besides Toxtricity and maybe Diggersby, this entire team basically loses to Toxic, Haze, Scald, Vaporeon.
Yeah. Well, you could run like a taunt Quiver Dance set on.
That's true. I mean, there's ways around it, but I think Haze, like I agree that setup is going to be really important, and he got great screen setters and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
I think that's kind of what we figured out last season against Ben, is that if you have let's call them phasers, people that can either be unaware or get rid of stat changes, then you pretty much beat Ben, because that's his win con.
Yeah, and that works a lot of weeks. This team may have gone a little too all in on that, is my biggest concern.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had for positives, that was an interesting draft style, to take all from the middle. I respect just like going for all out offense with screens and setup. I don't know if it's particularly good. I think you could use more hazards and more bulk. Right now, you're kind of forced to rely on Salamence as a physical wall, and I think you want to be able to use Salamence offensively.
Yeah, I agree. And contrary to popular belief, hazards work really well on offensive teams too, because they get good chip that you might need to turn stuff that would normally do 90 into an Oko, or break focus sashes that people might have to counter you. Because even at, let's say, like +2 after a Shell Smash on Blastoise, you're not going to be Okoing everything on an opponent's team. And same thing with a Swords Dance on Scizor, or a D-Dance on Mence, or a Quiver Dance on Volcarona. The exception might be a Swords Dance on, like, Diggersby. You might actually kill everything, but then it's slow. So I think hazards would actually help you a lot. Yeah, this team was weird for me to look at. This is the one that may end up making me look like I don't know what I'm talking about. It might end up being good.
Yeah, I think definitely has potential, but
yeah,
it'll be interesting to see.
Yes. Okay. Next up, and I think is the Mumbai Mudkips. Oh, what do we got here? A nice banded Choice Band Poochyena Okoing Alakazam. Pretty nice. Good point. But yeah, 13th on our list is the Mumbai Mudkips. And this one you'll see as we move up this list, the three of us start to have some different takes on teams, and so this is the first one that kind of had that.
Yeah, I liked your team, man. I thought it was good.
I
Sam's just pampering you.
So I really like the Mons. I don't know about the cohesion necessarily, but I love the Mons in this team. You know, I love using Urshifu. I think Latios is, you know, pretty much a poor man's Latios, and I have Latios on my team. You know, Mega Alt has a lot of versatility. Steela is fantastic. Muckalola, you know, probably the best typing in the game. I don't know. I think a lot of good Mons, but cohesive, maybe not.
Yeah, I guess I do agree. I like a lot of the Mons on the team. Like, it hits really hard. Like Rillaboom or Shifu is you know, hits crazy hard.
Mm-hmm.
I think, yeah, I kind of agree though. Like, I thought it was a confusing team composition. Like, stuff didn't really seem to go together, and you don't really have much of a physical wall. I guess Celesteela is, but then I don't know. I think you want to be able to run Celesteela special a lot of times or offensively. And then you have two like pretty good Slush Rush users and no Hail Setter. So
yeah,
I would get rid of one of them and pick up like Aurora or Abomasnow. Abomasnow could be kind of funny with Rillaboom, honestly.
Yeah, it actually could, because Abomasnow does get Grassy Glide, which is Grassy
Oh
Glide
fuck,
Ice Shard, pretty cool.
You could even grab honestly you could even grab like Mega Abomasnow.
Mm-hmm.
I know you already have a Mega, but that's one that you can definitely double up on.
Yeah, it might be nice to have like Light Clay on Abomasnow though. But yeah, I think my biggest issues were that Sandslash Alola and Arctivish are completely useless on this team, basically. The way I'm looking at it, at least. Especially Sandslash Alola. I don't think it does anything for you. Arctivish could maybe, without Hail, just because it gets Water Absorb, which is useful, and its stats aren't terrible. And then you don't have a Ground type. And you have a lot of stuff that doesn't want to get Volt Switched on. And a lot of stuff that wants you to be ahead in momentum. Like Rillaboom and Urshifu work so well if you have the momentum to bring them in and force the other person to either take a big hit or switch out. You don't really have good ways of doing that, is my concern. And I don't think Chansey makes sense on this team, is the other one. You already have so many special balls.
Yeah, that's a good point. I also think Chansey is very risky. I think it'll work.
It's very predictable.
It just gets
very
set
predictable.
up on.
Yeah. So you got to be super cautious about, you know, not having people sub up and then just set up and sweep you. So you just got to be very careful about that.
Yeah, but I think if you combine Sandslash Lola and Arctivish into a ground type and a 1-pointer, I think that alone makes the team a lot better. Just as it is right now, it just feels weird. Is the best way I can put it.
I think you also need maybe another special hitter. Because right now you have Latios, and kind of Celesteela. I mean, it
kind of Mega Ult too.
Mega Ult too.
Both of them definitely prefer to be physical though.
Yeah. So maybe like a bulky special hitter, maybe.
I mean, Latias is a bulky special hitter.
Yeah, that's true. But it's got that speed too.
That's true. I mean, I don't think speed is the team's problem necessarily.
Yeah.
It's got Rillaboom, which just doesn't care about speed, and Urshifu, which can run a Scarf almost every time and be okay.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I think momentum. You need ways of keeping up momentum better is my biggest thing. And a ground type.
Definitely a ground type, yeah. Coming up to 5 minutes.
Yep. So moving on to our next team, we have the first of our Genie cores, G-Talk and the Philadelphia Phanpy. I mean, I like this team. I think this team is really close to being very good. It just got a couple issues. I think swapping Mimikyu for a fairy that can act as a cleric would be better. Like, I know, Clayton, I know you hate this mon, but Aromatisse might work here.
Dude, Aromatisse as your only fairy fucking blows though.
Yeah, but so does Mimikyu as your only fairy.
I disagree, dude. I like Mimikyu a lot, but whatever.
I think it's good, but I don't think this team needs more offense.
That's fair.
I think on this team, I think Mimikyu is definitely better than Aromatisse, but
yeah,
on this team,
Mimikyu
is kinda...
you definitely need some physical bulk. Yeah.
Right now you got double. That's about it.
Yeah.
I love double, but it's it's not enough.
Yeah, like I think I guess you can run Lando I physical defensive, but you don't really want to.
Yeah, and you have regen mons, which can make up for a lot of that.
Yeah.
It makes...
I do love this regen core of fast Tornadus into slow Slowking.
Yeah, I think that's really good. I think Lucario actually works pretty well here. And Mega T-Tar, paired with Slowking and Torn, you have infinite switch-ins to fighting moves. So
yeah, that's true.
That works well. I mean, Carnivine, I'm pretty sure is 1 point, but that thing's trash.
Yeah.
I'm assuming it's 1 point.
Delphox is also trash. I don't know why.
Yeah,
agreed.
I have that in my notes that not sure what Delphox does for this team. But Dragalge's very good for this team, I think.
It's stab fire, and that's about it.
Yeah.
I like the idea of running, of having Dracozolt with Mega T-Tar, but Mega T-Tar is like not the best sand setter.
Yeah, because you can't have a smooth stone.
You can't have a smooth rock, and you also, I don't know, T-Tar. I feel like T-Tar usually wants sand more for itself than to set it. But
I do think it forces other teams to prep for Sand Dracozolt, which on its own is valuable. But
yeah, that is true.
But yeah, I mean, I don't think.
And I guess Dracozolt is usable without sand.
Yeah, Hustle Scarf, as long as you don't miss, is pretty dank.
Yeah. Oh, the other thing that I was noticing is that it's a pretty poor Fairy Dragon Steel. Like, none of those I would consider to be like a star athlete. Lucario, Dracozolt, or Mimikyu are like, none of them are, in that top tier of Mons, So I feel like that just kind of makes a weird FDS core.
Yeah, if there's ever a week you don't bring Mimikyu and someone happens to decide to bring like Outrage or Draco Meteor on something, you don't have a switch into it, which is scary. Unless you run like Assault Vest Lucario for Draco Meteor or something.
Mm-hmm. And that's a good point about Dragalge being a good dragon. I do think it's probably better as a standalone dragon than Dracozolt, potentially. Still not good enough.
Well, I don't think having a dragon is super necessary. I think it's good. I think having a fairy and a steel is much more important.
So, the reason I think having a dragon is important is purely from a stat point of view.
Yeah.
Dragons just have the tendency to have just way better stats than everything else.
That's fair. That's fair. Yeah, I do think Dragalge gives momentum, T-spikes, and adaptability. Kind of makes up for its lack of special attack stat. So I do think
Dragalge's sick. I love Dragalge.
I think the bigger issue is Mimikyu as the only fairy type on a team with no physical walls. Besides Dubwool, I guess, if you count Dubwool.
Always count Dubwool.
Dubwool has come to exactly one match in this league ever, and it was a loss.
I did I did realize that Dubwool does get
it does get bulletproof now.
It gets bulletproof, and it also gets baton pass.
Ooh,
which
okay.
I feel like would make it a little bit better.
You can't really do cotton guard stuff with it then, though.
No, yeah, that's the downside.
Yeah, but yeah, I think not having a cleric sucks for this team. But beyond that, I think every team from this point on I thought was pretty good, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
At least in my rankings. Yeah, we'll see. I can't remember what we have above this, but okay, jumping to the next team, we have the San Francisco Seismitoads. Who yeah, I guess we were kind of agreed on where the Seismitoads were relative to the other teams. I think in terms of good things, Lando Feeney Melmetal is sick. That's so good. Then Volcanion works pretty well with this team. I think it's just a good mon to have. I do like webs with this team. And then beyond that, I don't really like this team anymore. Past those things is my issues.
I think he's got a lot of really good defensive options. So I don't know, you might want a little bit more hazard support. I feel like you're lacking on momentum a little bit. I mean, he's got some, but not the best. I think a cleric would work well on this team. And then lastly, I think Metang and Clang are redundant.
Yeah, no, they're completely redundant. Yeah. I think Mega Audino looks kind of sexy for this team.
Honestly, it does. Mega Audino is like, wow. Yeah, I think it would be really good, actually.
Also, I was theory crafting this team. You could drop Metang and Thunderous and pick up Deoxys Defense and get a Trick Room teleport for Melmetal Volcanion. That's kind of cool. Especially because I think if you have... Go ahead.
It'd give you that extra hazard setter too.
Yeah, I think you have a lot of stuff to work with because I think Graveler, Alola, Clang, and Metang are, because you have Melmetal, are all useless. If you didn't have another steel type, then I'd say, yeah, keep either Metang or Clang, and you can bring it against stuff like Lele or Mega Guard or something like that. But you do have Melmetal, so I don't think you're ever bringing them. And you have 11 Mons, so you can combine them, and it's like free points. And then I think Thundy plus Galvantula are kind of redundant, and I think you want the webs more than you want Thunderous. So,
couple notes that I had. Like Weavile is gonna be sick. Having a super fast pursuit user to like, essentially like edgeguard those fast psychic types. Is that the right usage? Edgeguard? I don't know.
Good enough.
Yeah, we'll call it. Yeah, so I think that'll be sick for you. Lando, Melmetal, Penny are all awesome. Could use some more momentum, and also you're lacking a dragon. And I tend to agree. I think, Fairy and Steel probably are more important, but I think having, the stats of a dragon, as well as, like, the resistances. I feel like if you're ever up against, like, an elemental, like fire, electric, grass, water, dragons just resist all of those. And I feel like having that just, like, in the bank is really nice to have. So, I don't know. I think it's always good to have a dragon, but...
Yeah, I'd agree it's good too. I just think the low tier dragons aren't necessarily like, if you don't already have one after like above 10 points, then I don't know if it's worth picking up like Guzzlord just to have a dragon if you don't also need a dark type kind of thing.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, thank you, Brian. I think this is like my most worn all-time shirt. But yeah, I think this team, getting a Trick Room setter would be really cool. I think Matang can, but you don't want to bring Matang just to set Trick Room. And then a Cleric would be very good. Okay. And ready for the next team?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
The Yodeling Yveltals. One of you guys want to jump off with this team?
Yeah, dude. I really like this team actually. I feel like there's a very good balance of like wall breakers, stall break. Excuse me, drinking a seltzer. A lot of good balance of like wall breakers, stall breakers, sweepers, pivots. I think you got enough bulk and enough offense. You got Hatterene, which he's good at using. I think for negatives, I said you could probably use some more defog support. I know you have some things that can do it, but another one might not be terrible. Getting something else with knockoff could be huge. And then my last negative, I guess it fits all right. I didn't think Mega Kangaskhan was a very good first round pick, quite frankly, but you built a good team around it, so that's good.
Yeah. I think things that you didn't mention. I think Haxorus plus Chandelure is a really, really scary combo, as is Melodic and Glysaur. It's just really hard to break. They cover each other's weaknesses really well. Defensively, Jirachi is kind of unlocked to do whatever it wants on this team. And I'm expecting to see some Trick Room stuff from a team with Hatterene and Vikavolt, because that sounds...
Oh, dude, Vikavolt and Trick Room is... Whew.
Yeah, that sounds pretty fun. So, and Chandelure can set Trick Room too, and it's not overly fast if you purposely make it slow. So, yeah, I think this team's got some great stuff going for it. Skunk Tank's like one of my all-time favorite mons to use. I do think it's going to need to put in a lot of work for you. But, and then the other issue that I had was there's no real Cleric for the team. But your bulky stuff that would really want to get, like, Glysaur doesn't need one because it's never going to get statused if you play well. And Melodic, basically the same thing because you can run Flame Orb. So your two walls, like, are basically immune to Toxic, which is huge.
Yeah, that's very cool. Brian does bring up a good point. It's pretty slow.
Super slow.
Oh, it's really, really slow.
Yeah, I think maybe swapping out Mega Kanga for something fast, and if you're swapping out Mega Kanga, that lets you pick up another like really fast Mega too.
I think Beedrill, maybe.
Oh, dude,
Yeah,
Mega Beedrill would be sick on this team.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do think if a team was ever built to succeed while not having a mon faster than Jirachi, it is this one. But that is a tough a tough thing because I mean I'm thinking about it. I think Zero Aura and Dragapult, Mega Zam, and all those are just gonna straight outspeed everything without running any speed. Basically, they'll have to run like 20 EVs or something, and that's just a big issue. Zard Y would be kind of cool with this team.
Zard Y could be cool. It could be a little redundant with Chandelure.
Or it just makes Chandelure Fire Blast Oko Toxapex.
Yeah, that's fair.
Dude, that would be so wild.
I don't think it actually would, but it would probably do like 50.
Yeah, it'd do a lot.
Specs Fire Blast Chandelure in the sun with Flash Fire activated.
Dude, let's see. Someone get a calc going. But yeah, no, I like this team. It is slow. That's a good point. I didn't really thought about that. My eyes just went straight Trick Room, and I got too excited.
Yeah, I think one of the things I really like about it is that it's got a deceptively good Fairy Dragon Steel. They're not that high tier, but I think they're all good mons. Like, I really like Jirachi, Hex, and Hatterene. Mike is so good at using Hatterene.
Yes.
I think that'll again be... What?
Oh, sorry. By the way, yeah, that Chandelure that I was talking about, Fire Blast, Specs, Flash Fire in the sun, Timid, always 2 shots Toxapex.
That's pretty dang.
That's kind of insane.
Dude, modest.
Defensive.
No, that's physical Toxapex. But then modest Specs Overheat can do up to 80 to Toxapex.
Christ.
That's insane.
That's pretty funny.
Anyways. Sorry, Sam, I think I cut you off.
No, you're good. Yeah, I kind of agree with what Clayton was saying at the beginning. You do have Lysor for defog. I think Skuntank gets it too, right?
Yep.
And Vika, I think.
Vika does not. Vika does not. Because I drafted it last season thinking it did, and it does not. I don't
really?
Yeah,
okay.
It sucks.
Yeah, so I think you could probably use another option, maybe a Rapid Spinner or something.
Have a bouncer.
He does have a bouncer. I never really think bouncing is reliable enough because you really gotta play well with it.
It does make people hesitate before clicking hazards, I think would be the only thing.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, that's a good point. But overall, I think it's a well-balanced team. Yeah. We're running up on 6 minutes here, so.
Okay.
All right, we can move on.
Okay, next one. We have Clayton. If you notice something in the rankings, Clayton likes his team a lot more than me and Sam like his team.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty good, but I guess not.
I mean, I think it is too. But I mean, honestly, I think most of the teams were very good. I think there's a few at the top that are like a bit above, but I think everything for the next 5 or 6 here is pretty interchangeable, in my opinion.
Yeah, dude, Clayton's team is better than 9. Thank you, dude. Sam had the gall to say that Mad's team was better than mine.
I like Mad's team. I would much rather use Mad's team than your team.
Dude, Mad threw a bunch of darts at a dartboard to pick his mons, and I have the best Dragon Steel Fairy Core out of anyone.
He was drafting with vibes.
Whoa! That is okay. That
with vibes.
That is
not true.
Yeah, that is debatable, but
I mean, we'll get to Mad's team, but
yeah,
like, all right.
Anyways,
do you mind if I make some comments?
Go for it.
My main thing about this team is that it's pretty slow, which is deceptive because I mean you have things like Cart and Lele and you kind of think of them being fast, but they're like not that fast. I think Archeops is your fastest, right?
Yes.
And so not that fast, and then you don't have a ton of momentum. Like your core 3, Lele, Garchomp, and Cart have no pivoting moves. You do have, teleport on 2 guys and Volt Switch, but I don't know. It doesn't seem. I think you turn on Archeops too, actually.
Yeah, so I
But
have
just
for
Teleport on
momentum.
Cloister too.
Yeah, so for momentum, Volibee is U-turn.
Mhm.
Porygon has teleport. Arcanine has teleport. Rotom has Volt Switch, and Rotom has a very good Volt Switch because it pressures ground types.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cloister has teleport, and Archeops has U-turn.
All right, but when are you ever going to use teleport on fucking Cloister?
You never know. It's got like 180 base defense,
Yeah, that's fair.
and it gets spikes and rapid spin.
Yeah, I like. I don't know. I like kind of.
I do know what you mean though.
Yeah, yeah. And then I had one other comment, but I'm forgetting now. I do like your team. I think you got a lot of good mons. You got Drapion, which I think is awesome. And you got Cloister, which is really scary now that King's Rock is okay. But there was one other thing.
I
But
think
maybe
for me, not having a cleric is scary, just because your only way of getting rid, like let's say someone has like Flame Body Moltres and you hit it with a Leaf Blade from Cart or something and it gets burned. You can't get rid of it unless you're running Aromatherapy on Lele, and then Cart's useless. And I
That's
think
true.
Cart and Lele have to take at least one mon a game almost to for you to win, which I think is very easy to do usually, but Cart getting burned could really mess you up. I think that if you're playing from ahead in momentum, like if you have the momentum, this is like one of the scariest teams to play against, because switching into Megachomp or Lele is so hard. Or if you get Cloister in at the right time and can Shell Smash, that's terrifying.
Yeah.
But if you fall behind in momentum, like if you have P2 and against like, I don't know, like if someone picks up Conkeldurr, I don't see a way for you to handle that situation. I think like fighting types are an issue, and that's like Arcanine with Intimidate can help that some, but I think staying ahead in momentum, which because you have so much teleporting shouldn't be that hard, could be an issue. And then I wish you had a fighting type, because a fighting type goes with Tapu Lele so well. But
hazard removal. I think hazard removal is going to be tough. I don't know if that was talked about.
What do you mean, dude?
But you don't have like
Kartana's
you got
just gonna
Rotom
click defog.
What?
Kartana's just gonna click defog, bro. It's fine.
Oh yeah, true. I forgot about that. Yeah, but like I feel like having Rotom main defogger is tough.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think the team's good. I think we'll get to the top teams later, but I think they just are so tough to poke holes in. Okay, and jumping to the next one. Unless anything else to say about Clayton's team? Oh, one thing I did want to say, I love Lele Garchomp. That's a sick combo.
Yeah. Offensively, I think you do probably have the best Fairy Dragon Steel.
Yeah.
But I don't think that makes it the best overall.
That's fair.
Okay. And next team, Mr. Zygarde, number 1 overall. So, I guess starting off, I don't like using first overall pick in the draft on Zygarde, but if you really wanted to use it, you weren't going to get it with your second pick, so I guess it's fine. I just think it's worse than Garchomp.
Whoa, I never noticed that the inside of Toxapex is hollow and it has like a little guy in there.
Yeah, there's just a little dude in there.
For some reason, okay. Sorry, just had to make that comment.
That's fair. I didn't know that the top of Nihiligo's head is transparent.
Oh, you're right, actually.
Yeah, look at this.
Huh.
Ooh. Okay. Sorry. That's Snom, Brian. I'm assuming you're talking about this. That is Snom.
Yeah, Snom is trash, but I mean, it's a 1-pointer, so
Yeah.
that's, I mean, whatever. I thought this team was weird, but good. Like, you got huge hitters like Heracross and Spectrier. I don't know if I love the like cohesion necessarily. Like, you don't have a ton of momentum. And your defogger is not great. Like, having Moltres as your sole defogger seems iffy. If you get like knocked off, then you're, at a threat from Stealth Rocks. It's an interesting team.
Yeah, I think Pex can kind of help with the momentum issue with Regenerator some. But yeah, unless you're running Baton Pass and Espeon, U-turn on Moltres is your only momentum. And getting Mega Heracross in, as I'm sure whoever Trader Joe is, who has tested this team, if Mega Heracross gets in for free, that thing's taking 50 from something. I'm pretty sure it 2 shots full defense Corv.
Damn.
Like, it's like, so if it SDs, then Corv just dies. Like, it's so scary.
Yeah. That's kind of insane.
But you would love some momentum to actually get it in. I think, and the other one is, I think Nihiligo, I don't know how to pronounce it, does seem kind of out of place here. But I don't know. I don't really know what that thing does.
I think
that well, so.
Yeah, I think scarfing it could be good, and I also think it's a decent special wall. I mean, its special defense is nuts, but it's it's actually really bulky. But then if it hits, it's almost like the inverse of Cart. It's got super high special attack, and it's associated defense stat is also really good. But then if it gets tapped by, a physical move, it just dies.
Or a ground move.
Yeah, 4x weak to ground is tough.
Yeah, that's...
I will say Boo helps with that some, but...
Yeah, it's still not eating an earthquake from anything, even with grassy terrain.
Yeah, that's fair.
Sorry, I know you said you don't love Zygarde. I really do. I like Zygarde a lot. I was really hoping it was going to fall to me in the draft. It's so bulky. So like you can just play with those EVs and get a free sub on a lot of stuff with the right EVs, and then just go to town.
I think Triple Axle nerfed it so much is my only issue.
That is fair, yeah.
But not everything gets Triple Axle, so it's not a huge deal.
Yeah, I think Bulu plus Pex is actually really cool.
Yeah.
Pex covers all of Bulu's weaknesses, right? I think, except for flying, I guess. But so I think that's cool. And then having grassy terrain up really helps for Pex and even Nihiligo, but like still doesn't really want to take an earthquake even at half. But
helps for Bisharp.
Yeah, it helps for Bisharp. That's fair. Yeah.
Yeah, and Moltres switches into anything Bisharp doesn't want to take for free.
And
then Spectrier can just run away with games. Like, this team is definitely scary. I mean, obviously, I rate it as the 5th best team. I think it's better than where we have it ranked. Largely, I love Pex on this team. I love Mega Heracross on this team. You just need a little bit more momentum, and I think this team goes crazy.
Yeah.
Agreed.
I think if either Bulu or Heracross got U-turn, it would be significantly better.
Maybe you can try to pry Rillaboom away from Mad.
Yeah.
Bulu and Snom for Rillaboom.
Yeah, dude, Snom is so bad.
I mean, I'm not gonna say it's a meme pick, but it was probably a meme pick.
I don't understand, dude. I don't understand the meme one-pointer picks. There are like one-pointers that actually do something.
Yeah, like the one on this next team. Dude, Delibird gets spikes and rapid spin.
Yeah, exactly.
Pretty good.
And it looks pretty funny too.
It does.
I like Delibird.
It looks very funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think, as from my point of view, I think my team's pretty good. I think Mega Mawile and Slowbro is super good. And beyond that, if Staraptor ends up being dope, mad yes it is because he's like Santa. I'm assuming that's why he's Ice type. If Staraptor ends up working really well, this team should be really good. But I think a lot hinges on whether or not Staraptor ends up being good.
I think it has potential.
Yeah, it's always hard to like look at your own team because yeah. I also think Mamo is either going to work really well or be very awkward. I'm not really sure which.
Yep. You have a lot of mons that I really like. Like, you got plenty of momentum. You got U-turn on let's see, Cinderace and Hydreigon. You got Volt Switch on Rotom, or what's that one called?
I also have U-turn on Hydreigon and Staraptor, and yeah.
Yeah, I said U-turn for. Oh, I didn't know Staraptor got U-turn.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, and then you got Teleport on Slowbro, which was huge. My biggest complaint is that you're doubling up your Fairy Steel in Mawile. It is fantastic, but I feel like you could do with another Fairy type, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, I think Mawile acts as a better Steel type than Fairy. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'd agree with that. I've been trying to look for ways to perhaps pick up something like Aromatisse, just because I also need a Cleric. Not having a Cleric is, well, Illumise. I have Illumise for Wish Passing, but not having a real Cleric is the scary thing for me. Because I think Mega Mawile really wants a Cleric.
Yeah, definitely. I like having the two Intimidate users. I think that's really cool.
3 if you count Mawile pre-Mega.
Oh, true, actually. I didn't even think about that. Yeah, so you could, like, just switch between the 3 of those and just pop off.
I'll just never Mega. It's fine.
Yeah.
Regular Mawile better anyways.
Yeah.
True.
Intimidate way better than Huge Power.
I think some more hazards would be good for you.
Yeah, I agree.
Because was it you have Stealth Rock on Mamo and Spikes on Delibird? Is that it?
Nah, dude, I have Spikes and T-Spikes on Venomoth. And Rocks on
True.
Mawile, I think.
Yeah, I think so too.
I guess so.
Who's your default? Who's your hazard remover?
I have 8 of them.
You do?
Venomoth, Illumise, Hydreigon, Hitmontop, Staraptor, Rotom, Cinderace has Court Change, and Delibird also gets Defog.
Okay.
Yeah, like
so
pretty much
my
everything.
comment there is that
Yeah,
I think it's good that you have so many options for it. The only issue is that the ones that want to run hazard removal are lower tier, I think. Like, I don't think you necessarily want to run Defog on Hydreigon or Court Change on Cinderace. So I feel like you'd almost have to bring like a lower tier to act as your hazard removal.
I think
But I could be wrong. I mean,
the good thing is, if I keep this current team, I will have 3 things on my team every week that has defog or some form of hazard removal, like no matter what I bring, at least. So
yeah, that's fair, and I think that makes up for it because you had just so many options.
Yeah, so that's I'm going with the opposite strategy of the Tustin Turtwig of instead of just having everything set hazards, I have everything remove him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I agree. Hazard not having great hazard setting, my cleric being a Lumise is tough, and then especially I could have issues if it's like Hitmon top can deal with a lot of stuff, but I'm gonna have to run an assault vest on a lot of stuff every week, I think.
Rotom-Mow is a pretty decent special wall, but
yeah,
I agree. You probably want something a little better.
Yeah. Something with recovery would have been nice. And Lancaster Official, I think, is Sawslow. I disagree. I think Court Change with heavy duty boots, Cinderace is actually really good.
Dude, the best is to Court Change screens.
Yeah, like I can get screens onto my side, like if someone sets that up. Oh, no bueno for my opponent. Gotcha. Okay. Okay. But yeah, that's.
I do think that Slowbro and Rotom-Mow work really well together.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, what's Rotom-Mow taking super effective? Fire? I mean, that's an easy switch
Fire
for
and ice.
Slowbro.
Yeah.
Yeah, fire and ice. And then Slowbro can tank that, and then Slowbro's taking what? Grass and electric?
Yep.
Dark too, dark and ghost, but like.
Cure and scary.
I think that's a good call there. Yeah.
Cure and scary for everyone.
But then you also have Mawile for others.
Yeah. Okay.
We're coming up on 7.
Yep.
All right, who's next?
The Uzbekistan Darmanitans. So, find this team.
Salzo was not happy. I did play him today, and after playing him, I do think I would probably move him up a little bit. Zam is so scary. I kind of forgot that Calm Mind was still a thing for it. Like Nasty Plot, you can't use, but like Calm Mind is still, really good on it.
Yeah. I think Mega Zam, there might be the first couple weeks might take some getting used to using it, because I do think using any like frail super big hitter is sometimes tough to get used to, but you have the momentum to get it in pretty well, and nothing really wants to switch into Mega Zam.
Yeah.
That thing is so nasty.
He doesn't have a ton of momentum though.
He has Baton Pass on Togekiss, Volt Switch, Baton Pass on I think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of his Mons have momentum.
I was only counting. Oh, Flip Turn. Flip Turn's good.
Yeah. Flip Turn. No, Swampert is really good for this team, I think.
Yeah. I completely forgot about Flip Turn.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Thank you, Matt, for bringing that up. Shedinja is completely useless on this team.
Oh, what about safety goggles?
Then you can't run boots.
Great. Yeah, then you can't run heavy duty boots. Like, it's actually like, this is if you just want to take it away, but also like you have Mega Zam. Stuff's gonna be packing Ghost and Dark moves so much. And then like fire moves for Magnezone. Like, I think it's so bad on this team specifically. Like, I think Shedinja has matchups sometimes, but not. I was looking at it, and it's just like everything you don't want on a Shedinja team is on this team, which I think is very funny.
Yeah. I kind of agree. I do think Shedinja can be good. sometimes it can
Just win.
Just win you a game, which is crazy for a what is it like a
2-pointer?
2-pointer?
2-pointer.
Yeah, that's kind of dumb. Like, so I think it can be good.
Yeah.
I personally think Pyukumuku is awesome. I think it's always good to have a unaware boy. And that's really just a personal preference, but I think it's always just a good thing to have in case, you're up against like, Ben and he's trying to set up every single mon and you're like, okay, what do I do? I think Pyukumuku's nice. And then having T-Tar is probably one of the best pursuit users.
Probably the best,
which I also think.
I would say. One of, if not the best, yeah.
Yeah, I think Weavile could maybe be better because I think, being fast enough to still hit it before they move if they don't switch out is kind of important. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Brian raises a good point. Togekiss is nerfed if it's not on Clayton's team.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I think we're all just scarred from Clayton wrecking us with Togekiss at some point.
Oh, man.
It's so good. I think, so my thoughts were, I mean, it's an awesome top 3. Like, Garchomp, Megazam, and Zapdos is incredible. Like, they're incredible. Team is a little weak to ice, but you do have good switches into ice for like T-Tar and Pyukumuku and Magnezone.
And Shedinja.
Yeah, true. You have a lot of good hazard options. Yeah, I really like Pyukumuku and Ferroseed. I think they're both great low tier picks. For some negatives, you don't really have a great choice scarf user. So like, yes, Megazam is fast, but it does get outsped by a lot of things that typically have a scarf. And so, yeah, I don't know, a lot of other things, like you can put a scarf on Togekiss, but
Doesn't want it.
Yeah, it doesn't really want it, and like 80 speed isn't crazy fast for a scarf. Like it's still outsped by the really fast things.
Yes. The speed I put this team at 4. I originally had it at 2, I think, and then the speed knocked it down a couple for me. But sorry to interrupt.
No, I mean that was pretty much it. Oh, you don't really have anything that wants to use knockoff. I guess Ferroseed gets it.
I mean, Zam also gets it, but neither of those are neither of them are you gonna run knockoff on.
Well, I mean, I think knockoff is good on Ferroseed, but
right, but then you're bringing,
but you don't. Yeah, exactly. Then you're bringing Ferroseed, and yeah, you definitely don't want to run knock on Zam.
Yeah.
Brian, T-Tar does also get ice. It gets Ice Beam and Ice Punch.
Yeah.
But yes, that's a good point. Some more ice coverage would be good.
I think a big one for me, I wish you had a fighting type. I feel like an offensive fighting type would work really well on this team. Just to deal with dark types that Alakazam doesn't want to deal with.
Keldeo would be nice.
Yeah.
Ooh, or Conkeldurr.
Ooh, yeah, Conk would be nice.
Or even if you want like a lower tier one, even just something like Hitmonlee or even like Girder, if you wanted to swap out some of your low Ts for like Girder, just something to like make people think about. Because I actually really like all your high tier Pokemon.
I do think Magnezone, one of the best bang for your buck on the entire tier list. I don't know. Like, it's so good. What is it, like 11 points?
10 or 11.
Something like that? Yeah. Low average, and it's consistently an OU. You can run Iron Defense, Body Press.
I mean, I think we mostly knocked it down because Magnet Pull is so nerfed in draft. But
yeah. We're coming up on 8 minutes now, so we should probably.
Okay,
All right, yeah, we should probably move on.
I know, Saslo, you were saying you wanted answers for why Gola was ahead of you. One, I disagree, but I disagree that Gola should be ahead of you. But I'll let Sam and Clayton talk about this first.
Yes. Oh, you can go first, Clayton.
All right. I really like your Dragon Fairy Steel core. Dude, D-Knight and Heatran go so well together. And I really like Sylveon with them too, because it's a cleric with with baton pass, like wish passing into both Heatran and D-Knight is really good. Sylveon also does give you one slow pivot into Gallade. Let's see what else we have for notes here. I thought for negatives, you probably need some better defog options. Like you have Tentacruel for rapid spin, and I guess Haunch Crow and technically D-Knight get it too, but you don't want to run defog on D-Knight. And then I think you need some more momentum. I think you really want something else that can safely bring in Gallade so it can blow stuff up. But then, yeah, if you're able to get some more momentum to bring in Gallade and D-Knight, like it's fucking crazy. And honestly, if you choose to use Scarf Heatran as Mike did almost every week last year, Scarf Heatran's like pretty sick too. Yeah, and I thought this team was just a little better than some. All right, Sam,
I might throw my 2 cents in real quick. I'm realizing that I'm actually already running late for a family dinner tonight, so I might dip out of this one or after this one. Sorry, I completely forgot it was going on today.
Got him.
I feel like I'm always dipping out early. But yeah, so I think I did put Gola a little bit higher than I may have thought.
Two.
Yeah, so I think realistically I should have put him closer to like maybe 4, maybe 5, because I was thinking you had more momentum than you do. You really only have, what do you have? You have Raikou and Sylveon. Maybe Honchkrow gets U-turn. I don't know about that one. But then again, it's Honchkrow. I don't really know what that thing's going to do. But I think your Fairy Dragon Steel is awesome. Like Clayton was saying, Heatran plus Dragonite is really, really good. And I think you got good walls too. I mean, you got Sylveon, you got Tangrowth. One thing I was saying that you're lacking is a good hazard removal. I think D-Knight gets it, but you don't really want to run it. You got Rapid Spin on, what's that? That Squid Boy, which is like pretty good, but I don't know. Seems a little not ideal. But yeah, I think your team is really scary. Just looking at it, like Gallade is sick, D-Knight is sick. And I think you'll be able to use all of these like top 3 guys to their full potential. Like I think, in previous seasons, these Mons may not have been used to their full potential, but I think you'll be able to really take advantage of their versatility. Yeah, so I'm excited to see that. And on that note, I think I have to dip, but I can maybe link my notes to the other guys, and they can maybe speak for me.
All right, sounds good. Thanks for sticking with us for a bit.
Yeah, sorry, I completely forgot that I had this.
No problem.
But yeah, I should get going.
Okay.
No worries.
So my reasons for putting this team at 11 instead of which is obviously much lower than the other two. Mega Gallade is, in my personal opinion, the second best Mega after Alakazam. Heatran and Dragonite, I think is really cool together. I think it's going to work really well. That's about all that I really liked about this team. I I think Honchkrow as your only dark is garbage. I think that's going to be a big problem, especially when your best hazard removal, unless you want to run Defog on D-Knight, is Tentacruel, which is just going to get blown up by Psychic types. I think Mega Gallade works best when it can come in, and it can't really come in on this team, as far as I can see, because like Raikou, Volt Switch isn't reliable, and
Raikou does have a good Volt Switch because of Scald, though.
Yeah, but it's a fast Volt Switch, I guess is what I mean.
Yeah.
Like, it's usually gonna switch out so it doesn't take a hit. And sometimes if you force a switch and can Volt Switch on that, then it's great. My other issue, having used Sylveon last year for most of the season, I ran Baton Pass like the first couple weeks and then stopped running it because I never clicked the move. Because I would switch it in, I'd click Wish, they'd switch in something that's going to blow up Sylveon. I have to hard switch out. So you're only clicking Baton Pass if you don't click Wish most of the time. And because of that, yeah, you can switch Glade in, but you're risking taking a hit. And beyond that, I just think momentum, especially for stuff like D-Knight and Heatran and Glade, is going to be an issue. I think this team just gets put in the blender pretty easily. I do think, obviously, you're skilled enough to play around that, and I think you'll still probably be fine. I just wouldn't want to use this team, I guess, is the biggest thing. That's true. You didn't need a dark last season, obviously, but yeah, we'll see. I think your team last season was significantly better than this one. But I guess we'll find out. Again, prove me wrong. I don't love this team. I think it's good still. I think all these teams for the most part are good. I just didn't understand why especially Sam put it at 2. That blew my mind. But
yeah, that was seemed a little high for me.
Yeah. Okay. Jumping to number 4. And I promise that's not just salt from losing to you in the final, from losing to you twice in playoffs.
Oh, do we get Z's team?
Dude, Z's team. Dude, big fan of Z's team personally.
Dude, I am too. It's like, yeah, it's crazy fast. Like, honestly, he's probably got the best Dragon Fairy Steel core. I know I said I did earlier, but I disagree with myself. Dragapult Guard Ferrothorn is so nasty.
Yeah, he somehow took Gola's Dragon Fairy Steel core from last season and like upgraded it.
Yeah. I think he's got a lot of good defensive options. Dude, even Avalugg is like really good.
Yeah.
At its specific thing. I think one thing, I think you should pick up a cleric. I think a lot of teams can get away with not having a cleric, but I think Z specifically plays, like last year he played very well with Umbreon. And so I think just based on his play style, it would be smart to pick one up.
Yeah, I think something like Vaporeon would work really well for him.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I was gonna say Vaporeon over Gastrodon, but then you don't have a ground type, which is tough.
Yeah. I do think he still has an electric immunity, which is good, even without a ground type.
That is true.
And I love Zera. Zera's like one of my favorite Pokemon. Thing is so good. And Zia's played like every season basically without a defogger, and he finally drafted one. Like, holy shit!
Yeah,
he finally
drafted a very good one.
Oh my god!
Dude, I was so pissed when he took Mandibuzz. Oh, I wanted it so bad.
That was a really good pick. Yeah, finally has a defogger. It's his championship season. I think Ferrothorn is really good on this team. Polt is just broken. It's so good. Just D-Dance with Dragon Darts and then special coverage works almost every week. Like D-Dance, Dragon Darts, Fire Blast, Hydro Pump or something.
Yeah.
It's just... Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Even Chimchar is not terrible on this team. I mean, I don't think it'll ever come.
Monferno.
Oh, Monferno, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's not great.
It
I
gets
guess it is
rocks and
really.
U-turn and
I guess that's fair. Yeah.
like it does something. Dude, that's just Ferrothorn Sprite. Yeah, I would say it has a fighting weakness, except it has an immunity and a 4x resist. That is a good point though. Like he does have 3 of his biggest tanks are weak to it. His other one doesn't resist it. And he has one of his offensive things weak to it.
Yeah.
Mega Guard kind of like
super fucked fighting.
If a fighting Pokemon ever picks up a kill on this team, Mega Guard comes in and revenges it, basically.
Yeah.
Is the thing. And you can just run like Colberberry counter on like Avalugg or something. Or Choppleberry, that's the fighting one. But like
I don't really know. I know you like Lycanroc Dusk. I am not really sure how well
that's
I guess
the
it gets priority.
Yeah, I think that could swap out for like for something. But I think
Actually,
it's still
now
good.
that I'm looking at it, it is your best like traditional setup sweeper. You know, like Polt can
Yeah,
like run D-Dance,
but
yeah, like SD Accelerock is like pretty nasty, and I guess that's really your only priority. So
yeah, and you may say Lucario and Terrakion would go nuts, but again, they pick up a kill and then Polt comes in, or they pick up a kill and then Zera comes in. Like that's completely fair.
that's
No,
true.
I think this team is it definitely has a weakness. But I think it's honestly like Polt just being OP in my eyes is what bumps it up.
Yeah.
But okay. Top 3. Here we go. First up is Sam's team.
Trash. No, it's pretty good.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I said I think he's got a lot of like really good utility, like Clef, Gligar, Umbreon, Skarm, like even Weezing to an extent. Like they all provide very good utility. You know, they do a lot of different stuff. He's got a great Dragon Fairy Steel. I think Clef and Latios work really well together. He's got a lot of things that run a Scarf very well, which I know he loves to do. Like Latios, Zelf, and Zapdos G all are very good Scarf users.
Yeah.
I think one thing I did notice. So in terms of like there's stuff that hits hard, but like there isn't a lot of. He doesn't really have anything that can truly like set up and sweep.
Latios kind of can, but
it gets revenged easily if it's not if it doesn't have a Scarf, because it has no way to. Actually, does it get Dragon Dance?
It does.
You don't really want to use it though. Like
yeah, you prefer to run special for sure.
So yeah, I think he could be kind of limited by having to rely on choice items, but on the other hand, he loves running choice items. So
Yeah, I for me, I normally hate Umbreon. I think it's I don't like it. Like I think it just gets set up on so easily and just loses to taunt most of the time. On this team specifically, I think it works well because of Clefable. It lets Clefable not be a cleric. And when Clefable doesn't have to be a cleric and can run like Cosmic Power or Calm Mind or even just like unaware, soft boiled stuff, like it's so scary. Clefable's just a pain to deal with, especially when you can Wispash into Clefable, which is just terrifying. And anything that's going to be hitting Umbreon, like a fighting move, you just go to Clefable. I think Mega Blastoise is sick. I think that thing's awesome.
Yeah, even without Shell Smash, it just punches holes in everything.
Yeah, and it gets Flip Turn, it gets Rapid Spin, and after a Rapid Spin, its speed is good enough to where it's outspeeding most stuff. It's bulky enough to take a hit.
I hadn't thought about that.
Yeah. And playing into terrain teams, it can run Terrain Pulse, which is just really scary. So, like...
What a ridiculous move.
Yeah, it's kind of goofy. Given that, like, you know, if it's not going to stay in against Coco or Rillaboom or something. So, when you don't have that on your team, you're not going to use it very often, but watch out for a Pincurchin pickup.
Oh, dude, that would actually be fucking nasty. Dude, give that thing... Yeah, dude.
I don't know if
because it turns into the type of the terrain, right?
Yeah, so then you can't switch like water types into it. Like
holy shit,
Oko's
dude, that's sick.
Yeah, it's really dope.
You probably have to drop terrain, like Wheezing or something for it. I don't know. I know he likes Wheezing, but that would just be so sick.
Might be able to drop
Pincurchin in there instead.
I don't know how much points Pincurchin is, but that
would
be
it's
really
like
cool.
3 or 4.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure Lickitung is 2. But
yeah. My biggest knock on this team was I would prefer to have an offensive dark type as well, almost. Something that can punish psychic types, because I think psychic types are kind of an issue for this team.
Yeah, that's fair.
And there's a really weird speed gap between Zapdos and the next fastest thing is technically Gligar, but you're not running speed on Gligar, so then it's Blastoise. Which is awkward. But beyond that, it's a really solid team. Its momentum is also nuts. Okay. Top 2. We have the roommates, if you haven't figured it out. It's Kevin and... Or I don't know if they're roommates, actually. I know Kevin and Andrew were at some point, but it's Kevin and Matt.
Roommates.
And first up is Kevin.
Dude, what a nasty fucking team.
Ridiculous team. I hate Pelipper as a Pokemon, but I think Rain is OP. So kind of balances out as long as you have Mega Swampert. And Mega Swampert goes nuts on this team. And you picked up the best counter to Rain, which is the best Freeze Dry Mon. So you're all set there. And yeah, I mean, this team just goes nuts.
Yeah, dude. Coco and Kyurem as your top 2 picks. That was like the number one thing I was targeting in the draft. I wanted them with my top 2 picks. They work so well together. And they both complement Rain so well. And you know, the Rain help covering Bronzong and Scissor's weaknesses, like that's awesome. Honestly, it even covers Beware's weakness because it gets fluffy, so like it gains a fire weakness. But like you still have a Firemon, but like, you know, to have the coverage, but it's not one that, you know, is like reliant on being a Firemon. You know, it's like more of a dark type and a pivoter.
I had the same thing. It's like it's a fire type that doesn't really care about its fire moves.
Yeah, like, dude, I don't know. This team is just so good. I love it.
Yeah, I don't really like. I can nitpick, I guess, and say like, it doesn't really have anything that wants to take a knockoff, besides like Incineroar, I guess. But then you lose boots. But like, and its speed tiers are kind of weird if Rain's not up. But it's so nitpicky with this team. Like, it's just.
Dude, I don't know. I think speed tiers are great because Coco's ridiculously fast. Dude, Superior is like pretty fast. Kiram isn't slow. What is it? 95 speed, I think.
Yeah, I think for me,
And it's a good Scarf user. And then yeah, when Rain is up, Swampert's ridiculously fast. Scizor gets Bullet Punch to make up for the speed. Haunter isn't slow. I guess you're never really going to use Haunter. I mean, I'm not going to say you're never going to use him, but
yeah, I think like its speed tiers aren't bad, and if Rain's up, they're completely dope. But below, it's like between Kyurem and Incineroar, there's nothing.
I guess that's true.
But that's again so nitpicky because that's like not that important. It just means stuff in that range can run HP, but it's not a huge deal. Yeah, I don't really have anything bad to say about this team. It's more a compliment to the next team that this team isn't number one, because unanimous number one. This team is fucking ridiculous. The DC Driftblim fantastic draft.
Yeah, dude. Rotom Heat with Mega Diancie and Corv is I don't know. I think I think Rotom Heat plays very well with Diancie, and then it's also an awesome pivot core with Corviknight.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think Como works really well in this team because it can like it doesn't have to be defensive because you have other defensive options, but it can be defensive, or you can set up with either special or physical. Like you have other options for both of those too. So
yeah,
I don't know. I think the freedom of that is great. And then I think Zarude complements this team really well. I think Alamomola complements it really well. Yeah, dude.
Yeah,
nasty.
It's up there. It definitely has an argument for best Fairy Dragon Steel Core with Corv Diancie Como. I think Zarude and Alakazam together is dope. I think that's really, really good. Corviknight pivoting into anything on this team is just crazy, especially with the versatility of Como and Diancie. I mean, if I had to come up with something that I was like, oh, like, this is why this team isn't the best team, it would maybe be just if Alola doesn't have a good matchup, then you don't have a Cleric. But, like...
Roserade can run Aromatherapy.
Yeah, I guess Diancie, or Como specifically, I feel like likes a Wish Passer. But it doesn't need one. It doesn't need one, though. Like, it's still good without it. So when you're like, I don't know, it's so good.
Yeah. My nitpicks were a better ground type might not be a bad idea. Mm-hmm. It's tough losing momentum to Volt Switch if you're not if you're having to rely on Piloswine for that. It's a little tough. You don't really want to be bringing Piloswine most weeks, I think. My other nitpicks, kind of lackluster hazard support. I mean, I guess you do have a lot of things that can run hazards. I think it's usually better to not, though. Like I think it's tough using Stealth Rock on Como or Diancie unless they're running dedicated defensive sets.
Or like sometimes Diancie, like Diamond Storm and Moonblast, just kind of covers everything, so you can.
Yeah, exactly. You don't really have anything. I don't think you have anything except for Zam that gets knocked off. Oh, I guess Alamomola gets knocked off, but yeah. So I don't know. Those are some nitpicks, but they're far from far from crucial.
Yeah, honestly,
I think
even
this is a great team.
even Electrode just screens and boom into like D-Dance, Como, or Nasty Plot Alakazam or Bulk Up Zarude or anything like that is so hard to deal with.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, it's a damn good team.
yeah, and I agree. Please give Zarude knockoff.
It'd be so much better.
Yeah. Yeah, and I guess if this team falls behind in momentum, it kind of struggles, but even then, not really. Like, it's kind of tough to see how this team would really fall that far behind in momentum.
Yeah.
I don't know. This team's, there's a reason we all picked it as the number 1 team. It's so good.
Yeah, very impressed.
But yeah, that is the power rankings. These are the final rankings. And yeah, I'll be uploading this to YouTube. I'll upload the VOD. And yeah, I'm excited for this season. It's hopefully everything goes well, and I'm pulling for.
I'm pulling for me personally.
Yeah, I was just gonna say I was pulling for a close season. Like,
Oh,
I don't want to see like anybody like 10-0. I want everybody to have at least 2 losses.
dude, I want to go
Except myself. But no, I think even the teams at the bottom have great ways of fixing their teams very quickly, at least in my eyes. I don't think any team can be slept on, which last season and definitely the season before that could not be said. So props to everyone for all the prep. Points draft was really fun, and yeah. Thank you guys for those of you who were able to watch it live, and everyone else.
Don't forget to mash that subscribe button.
Yeah. Or what is it they say on Twitch? If anybody has an Amazon Prime and wants to give me like $5 or something, I don't really know how that works. This is like the first time I've ever done any stream. But yeah, on YouTube, mash that like button and leave a comment below of who you think the last team to lose a game will be or something. I don't know. And yeah, it's been
Cut.
Been fun. Cut. Okay. I'll yeah. Looking forward to week 1 matches, everyone. All right. Peace.
Peace.